Welcome to Television Sydney News. I'm Amy Richardson. It's great to have you with us. In this week's bulletin, New South Wales Anti-Discrimination Board unable to act on a racist Facebook page, the Royal Commission into Child Sex Abuse welcomed in Campbelltown, and a Parramatta school marks 125 years. But first, 700 small business owners converged on Homebush this week for the launch of a history-making campaign. The Small Business Too Big to Ignore campaign is designed to send Australia's political parties a message ahead of the September 14 federal election. The campaign is pushing for government to make it easier to employ people, overhaul the tax system, build better infrastructure and reduce energy costs for businesses. New South Wales Business Chamber Chief Executive Stephen Cartwright says the nation's 2 million small business people employ 60% of the workforce.
We are too big to ignore. People who want to stand for Parliament, who want to run this country, need to understand that the small business sector is being overtaxed, overregulated.
A website asking people to support the campaign was unveiled as part of the launch. Mr Cartwright says supporting small business is vital for Australia's future.
They are the engine room of the economy, and just imagine if all 2 million small business people hired one more person each, then we have zero unemployment. So it's a great opportunity to actually stimulate the economy.
Penrith Valley Chamber of Commerce President Peter McGee says the fact there's been 5 small business ministers in the past 15 months shows the government isn't taking small business seriously. The Chamber organised a coach to transport Penrith small business owners to the event. The New South Wales Anti-Discrimination Board says a Facebook page demonising Africans in Blacktown is not within its jurisdiction. The page has been liked by more than 4,500 people since it was created in August 2011. Longtime right-wing activist Ross the Skull May posted on the page promoting a white pride meeting at Rooty Hill last October. But Anti-Discrimination Board President Stepan Kerkasharian says while it can't force Facebook to shut down the page, a complaint against an identifiable individual can be lodged by a member of the vilified group. Hill's crime manager Gary Bailey has urged people to be aware of their surroundings and avoid walking alone, particularly at night. The warning followed a press conference at New South Wales Police Headquarters in Parramatta last week, where Detective Superintendent John KERLATEC said the reported gang rape of a 17-year-old at Baulkham Hills last month did not occur.
Whilst I'm relieved the assault did not occur, I'm abundantly aware of the angst it has caused many people. I can say the investigation was thorough, as all matters are in sexual assault, and I encourage anyone who has been a victim to come forward and be assured that their matter will be thoroughly investigated and resources will be applied appropriately.
He says many parents in the Hills had called police, concerned about the welfare of their children in the month following the allegation. He encouraged everyone to take care and use common sense when going anywhere at night. For child abuse victim John Hennessy, the start of the Royal Commission into Child Sexual Abuse was akin to the demolition of the Berlin Wall. The former Campbelltown Deputy Mayor campaigned for years to expose and punish both abusers and their protectors. Mr Hennessy says the Royal Commission will show people in churches and other organisations they are not above the law. More than 5,000 people are expected to appear before the Royal Commission. The Australian Early Development Index data released in Blacktown shows Western Sydney children have improved in 4 of 5 core development areas. The social competence, emotional maturity, physical health and cognitive and communication skills of 290,000 5-year-olds were assessed in May 2012 for the national report. Federal Education Minister Peter Garrett says the data will allow governments to target resources towards the most vulnerable and disadvantaged students.
The purpose of this AEDI information is to give everybody a stake in working out the things that we need to do to help our kids before they get into school.
The government hopes to make Australia's education system one of the top 5 in the world by 2025. Police will open several post office boxes in Marryong to get more information on the workings of a counterfeit DVD distribution network. Police Crime Manager Brett Guyat says the network has been smashed after the seizure of counterfeit DVDs worth about $1.2 million in Blacktown last week. The DVDs include movie titles, music and TV show boxed sets and are said to have a retail value of more than $20 million. A 28-year-old Mariang woman is facing charges of dishonestly obtaining property by deception. Glenwood residents fear Parkland Markets could be redeveloped after the site was put up for sale by an insolvency firm. Former owner Con Constantine sought approval for $136 million redevelopment of the site before his business was placed into receivership in 2011. The insolvency firm has now put Parkland Markets up for sale just weeks after Blacktown Council extended its opening hours. Glenwood Community Association says plans to build a convention centre and hotel are inappropriate for the site, which is close to their homes. The lineup for local audiences has been announced for this year's Sydney Writers' Festival. The essence of storytelling is at the heart of the Western Sydney program, officially announced at the University of Western Sydney's Parramatta campus on Wednesday. Parramatta's Riverside Theatre will see UK storyteller Daniel Morden and international performance poets Kate Tempest and Anis Majani light up the stage. Sydney Writers' Festival Artistic Director JEMMA BIRRELL says 2013 will mark more than a decade of the event's involvement in the West.
So the program in Western Sydney has been growing and developing year on year, and we're really dedicated to continuing that and to bringing some of the best events and also showcasing what is here.
The Sydney Writers' Festival takes place from May 20 to 26, with venues across Blacktown, Parramatta, Penrith and Campbelltown set to host events. Asbestos has been found in a heap of illegally dumped building materials on busy Badgery Creeks Road. Liverpool councillor Peter Hall says dumping costs the council more than $200,000 a year in removal fees. He says the high cost of legal waste disposal and recycling centres is adding to the problem. The council offers 2 free household waste collections a year for residents to reduce the amount of illegally dumped household waste. A proposal by Telstra to build a mobile phone tower in the Royal National Park at Grays Point has been condemned by environmentalists. Telstra wants to build the tower to boost network capacity, but Sutherland Shire Environment Centre says services could be provided to Grays Point with a smaller, lower-powered device. They say the level of electromagnetic energy considered safe by the Australian standard is still too high and could have long-term harmful effects, especially for children. And in sport, Western Sydney Wanderers face off against Brisbane Roar in the elimination semi-final at Parramatta Stadium on Friday. In their debut season and under the guidance of first-time coach Tony Popovich, the Wanderers were keeping their pre-match training low-key and relaxed during the week. The stars of soccer's A-League, who have won both the Premier's Plate and admission to the Asian Champions League in their first season, have also won the hearts of fans. Liverpool Mayor Ned Manoon hopes to celebrate their successes by hosting a civic reception and awarding them with the keys to the city. Eels coach Ricky Stewart has named an unchanged lineup for the Blue and Gold's first trip out of Sydney this year. Kalepi Tanganoa and Fuifui Muimui are tipped to start the game despite being named on the interchange for the clash against the Gold Coast Titans on Sunday. Former Eels greats Luke Burt and Nathan Hindmarsh made a visit to the team's training session this week. Eels front rower Mitchell Allgood says the mood in the camp had lifted heading into the clash against the Titans following their victory over the Sharks in the Johnny Manor Cup last Saturday.
I think with watching video and seeing areas we need to improve on, it does show that we do have potential, and I think we need to focus on those areas and get them right.
Allgood says it's a credit to the coaching team led by Ricky Stewart. He says the players are confident in what they can do and it's about putting that together on a week-to-week basis. In AFL, Giants coach Kevin Sheedy remains optimistic about the team's future despite their losses. In last weekend's second-round AFL match, the Giants had led Port Adelaide by 20 points early before the hosts went on an 11-goal second-half blitz, winning 19-20-134 to 11-12-78. Undaunted, Sheedy has gone on an outstanding sprint before this weekend's match against the also winless St Kilda at Manuka Oval in Canberra. Sheedy has written an open letter about Canberra as a cultural and intellectual centre and a great AFL town. The Giants lost their previous match against St Kilda at the ground in 2012, but are hoping to turn things around this weekend. And finally, quills and ink replaced iPads when pupils and teachers at Parramatta West Public School stepped back in time for the school's 125th anniversary. Year 4 teacher Lauren Jennings said the celebrations were a fun and exciting chance for pupils to experience the way things were when the former Pitt Road Public School opened in 1888. The students also played games from the period, including marbles and fly, and learnt how to make butter from thickened cream using modern devices. Principal Anthea Donaldson said pupils at the school have changed from the farmers' sons and daughters of the original classes to those from diverse cultures. She said the school is an important part of the area's history and has educated generations of students. There are now 52 languages spoken at the school, and children come from every continent in the world. And that's all for this bulletin. For more information on any of these stories, pick up your local Fairfax community newspaper. I'm Amy Richardson. We'll see you next time.